Hello, and welcome to my take on the metric brownies. My father and I were talking about lemon poppy seed muffins, so I thought this would be a good excuse to actually make them. First step is to get an apron so you don't ruin your clothing. It doesn't have to be monogrammed, but if it is, it makes the experience so much better. So now that you're all aproned up, you're going to grab your dry ingredients. So first you're going to need 2 1/4 cups of flour, which is 281.60 grams. Then you're going to need 2 teaspoons of baking powder, which is 9.60 grams. Then you're going to need half a teaspoon of baking soda, which is 2.50 grams, and half a teaspoon of sea salt, which is 2.85 grams. So first you're going to start with your flour. You're going to want to spoon it into the measuring cup so that you can get it nice and even. And if you think it doesn't matter, I asked my mom. Does a spoon thing actually make that much of a difference?
What do you mean?
Like spooning it in?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
I trust her because she bakes a lot. So then you're going to add your baking powder. Now, personally, I had to use 2 containers because I didn't realize the first one was practically empty. So, besides the point, then you're going to add your baking soda. And then for salt, I personally always like to pour it over the sink as I can never manage to get it to be perfectly even, and I don't want there to be too much salt. And that is it for the dry ingredients. So now you're just going to whisk it all up. Make sure you get it really whisked because, you don't want to over mix it, but you also don't want someone to bite into a muffin and have a clump of baking powder. So yeah, just whisk it all up, and now it's time for the wet ingredients. So first you're going to need 1 cup of Greek whole milk plain yogurt, which is 250 milliliters. Then you're going to need 2/3 a cup of maple syrup, which is 156.42 milliliters. Then you're going to need 1/3 cup of any neutral oil. Personally, I used canola, which is going to be 82.50 milliliters. And then you're also going to need 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, which is 5 milliliters. And you're going to need 2 tablespoons of any milk of your choice. I use oat milk, which is 30 milliliters. You're going to need 2 eggs, which is 2 eggs. And then you're going to need 1/4 cup of freshly squeezed lemon juice, which is 59.25 milliliters. And you're also going to need 2 tablespoons of lemon zest, which is 12 grams. You're going to start out by washing the lemons because they've been on the counter and you're about to zest them, and that would be gross if you didn't. So then, dry them off. Next, grab a bowl of some sort to put it in. Personally, I have a lemon bowl and I think it's super cute, so I thought it would be perfect to use. Now you are going to zest the lemon, so you're going to take the lemon and scrub it against the microplane grater until the side looks about white, which is why I keep checking it, and once it looks white, you move over to a new part. And personally, I hate zesting lemons because, as you can see, I always manage to find a way to injure myself, either on the grater or because I have a cut on my hand. So just be careful, and if you have cuts on your hands, use gloves or just be prepared to suffer. Now that you hypothetically, we'll circle back, have your lemon zested, it's time to measure out the wet ingredients. So you're going to start with your Greek yogurt, because I think you should start with the Greek yogurt so that way when you add all of the rest of the liquids into this, they can be used to get the rest of the Greek yogurt out. It'll make more sense once you see it. But yeah, make sure you get eye level with it, make sure it's nice and even, and then pour it into your bowl. And when you pour it into your bowl, use the spatula. The spatulas exist for a reason. Get as much out as you can because you want your measurements to be as accurate as possible. Once you get as much of the yogurt out as possible, you're going to move on to the rest of the liquid. So I started with maple syrup, and then while I was pouring the maple syrup, I remembered the discussion about polar molecules and was like, maybe I should add the oil and do a little side experiment. And as you can see, they did not in fact mix. So that was a fun little side experiment. So yeah, then once more, you're going to use the scraper to get as much of the liquids out as possible. Also, I added the milk here, but I forgot to record it. So know that the milk is in fact in here. Then you're going to add your eggs, do a little crack moment, pop them in. Sometimes I pop them in a bowl first and then put them in, but I thought I would be fine. And I was. No shell came out, so that was good. And then you're going to add your vanilla extract, nice and simple. And then remember how earlier I said hypothetically regarding the lemon zest? Well, no, are you kidding me? Yeah, so I did not in fact zest enough lemon. So spoiler alert, you're going to need closer to 4 lemons and not 2 lemons. So I returned to zesting the lemon. It's okay though, because I didn't injure myself this time. It was just really annoying. But it's okay, because now it is time to use the other part of the lemon. So first you are going to cut the lemon in half, and then you're going to put it on the juicer thing. I read somewhere that if you roll the lemon, it's supposed to make the juice come out better and faster. But I think you are supposed to do that before you cut the lemon in half. But I don't know. Do whatever you want. It's not necessary, but yeah. It took me about 2 lemons, if I remember correctly, to get all of the juice, but I think it really depends on what size your lemon is. So again, you're going to use the scraper, get all of the lemon juice out, then you're going to add the rest of the lemon zest. Thank goodness we are done with that. And again, scraper, use it. Now it is time to mix, so you're going to grab your handy dandy whisk and just whisk it all together. Personally, I like to break the egg yolks first because I don't know if it actually does anything, but internally it makes me feel like it's going to mix better because the egg yolk is already broken up. So yeah, mix it until it looks about like how it looks in this. You want everything to be nice and even. You don't want any clumps of egg. You want the color to be consistent. And then you're going to add your dry ingredients into the wet ingredients, again using your spatula to make sure that you get all of the dry ingredients out. You don't want any baking soda left behind. Then you're going to mix it. I used my spatula. You could use a wooden spoon if you want, but I would not use a whisk personally. And then yeah, use the spatula, get it all up on the sides. You don't want to overmix it either. You don't want it to be clumpy, but you don't want to overmix it or else it won't be fluffy. Okay, and for the last ingredient, the star of the show, time to add your poppy seeds. So it was 2 tablespoons of poppy seeds, which is equal to 18.12 grams. So similar to the salt, I also like to measure these above the sink just because, as you can see, it's kind of overflowing. And I don't want the lemon poppy seed ratio to be off. So again, I just level it off and then we're good to go. After leveling it off, you're going to fold it in. Again, don't get too aggressive with it because it will mess with the fluffiness. Just fold it in until it's just incorporated enough. Now, personally, my oven preheats really fast, which is why I didn't preheat it until this step. If you want to preheat it earlier, you can, but we're going to preheat it to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, which is around 200 degrees Celsius. And then we're going to line the muffin trays. Again, I probably should have done this earlier, but I always forget. Then using a cookie scoop, or you could use a 1/3 cup measure or just a regular spoon, whatever you have on hand, you're going to scoop the batter into the muffin cups until they're about 2/3 of the way full. Once you are out of batter or all of the cups are full, you're going to put them into the oven. My batch had 20 personally, and then you're going to set the timer for 10 minutes because we are going to rotate our pans in the middle. Now, this is when disaster struck. Oh, ha, ha, ha. Oh my God. Oh, ow. There's a hole in that. There's a hole in that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. So yeah, make sure that your mitts don't have holes in them, I guess. Not a sentence I thought I would say, but a sentence that I experienced. Then you're going to put it back in. The whole thing is supposed to take 15 to 20 minutes. I forgot how fast my oven cooks things, so I just put it in for another 5 minutes, and then you're going to want to check it. Once your toothpick comes out clean, as you can see, that means they are done. So then I took them out of the oven. I didn't burn myself this time, which was nice. After 5 minutes of them in the pan, I took them out and put them on a cooling rack because I didn't want them to overcook. During their time in the oven, they have converted from a liquid to a solid, a beautiful solid, as you're about to see. Oh, there we are. I'm gonna cut her in half. It was very moist, and I'm gonna be honest with you, they weren't that good. They weren't. I lie. In the video of me doing the thumbs up, that was just because I was defeated after injuring myself so many times. But yeah, I mean, they're pretty. The little speckled dots, I think you could put a glaze on it because I feel like it either needed to have more lemon or be more sweet. So I think if you were to put like a glaze, you could do a lemon glaze or a nice vanilla glaze, then maybe it would be better. But it was pretty and it was a journey. And, you know, even though I kept hurting myself, it was pretty fun. So, the end.